Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you some new to me complexion products that I think work really well on a mature or dry or both skin. So watch on. I finally got, I hope, shade matched for this Ilia, and I've got to read it, Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 30. It was the SPF 30 that's attracted me, but it's taken me ages to get round to it. So this is what it looks like. It's got a dropper, and I'm going to just put it on with my fingers and see how we go. So I wanted something that was definitely had an SPF, because I have finally got with the program and understood that just wearing my SPF is not enough, and the more products that have got a little bit of SPF at the very least is going to help me. Now this comes on quite light, but it does oxidize. That's the thing that I noticed when I was standing in Space NK. So my colour is ST11 Matera. There are 30 shades and I'm roughly in the middle. What I did notice is this does go on light, but also the thing to know about it is you've got to give it a really good shake, which I did off camera. It goes on really light and then it oxidizes and then it's fine. So this is the first time I'm actually trying it having bought it, although as I say I did try it in the store. If you don't shake it, it really separates, and it's pretty obvious that it needs a shake. So I'm just saying, just bear that in mind if you are, like me, somebody who's not tried this before and are curious. What interested me was not just the SPF, but the fact that I think it's probably made for a dry, more mature skin. You can feel it's got that emollients that probably is not going to be appropriate for anybody with oily skin. I think I would even go so far as to say if you're combination skin, at least try it and see, because it defeats the purpose, doesn't it, if you then have to put powder all over your face, if it's just a skin tint. Okay, have I put enough on? Not sure. I'm so unused to using my fingers with the products. I normally use a brush, but I think for this one, it does merit doing it with your fingers just to see what the texture's like and how much you're putting on. Now, a lot has been made about this smell. I mean, it's not fragranced. It's not a really terrible smell to me. Apparently some people really, really don't like the smell, but to me it's just like mild ingredients smell, but nothing offensive. But I am just saying, I'm just pointing it out, because that is something that I've noticed, people have commented over the years. One of the things that put me off this serum is that some of the reviews that I'd seen just over the years had said, oh, it's really greasy, you don't want to use it. But actually, I did think, well, hang on a minute, I've got dry skin, so it's probably all right for me. Now that is the finish. I don't know whether the colour's doing its thing and how long we have to wait. I know when I was in store and the assistant was matching me, it didn't take very long at all. On her hand, it looked really pale, and then, although, actually, look, you can see. Can you see the rim around has oxidized and the bit in the middle hasn't yet? That's interesting. I'll just put a bit more on the old cheeks. I don't mind a bit of shine. I don't mind putting a bit of powder on. I really don't. Because if it's something that throughout the day is not going to be, well, it's going to stay moisturizing. And remember, I haven't told you yet, but there's niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, and something else as well, squalene. So these are all good things for a mature skin. Let's see. Now, where's the old baby wipe so I can wipe my fingers? Okay, so that is how it looks. I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer so you can have a look and see what it looks like on my dry and very mature skin. Okay. It has covered up a bit of redness and evened out my complexion, I feel. That's how I feel about it. And on my forehead, which I always think is like the litmus test, because it's a nice flat surface. I've got a big forehead. You get a sense of what the finish is like. It's a glowy finish, but I wouldn't say it's particularly shiny. I mean, I didn't put any on my nose. Should I put some on my nose? I probably should put some on my nose. Now, the other serum foundations tinted serums that I've flirted with was the Lauder one in the beautiful glass bottle, which I really liked the finish of it when I tried it on, but I couldn't get a decent shade match. And then there's also the Beauty Pie one, which I do really like, but they keep changing the name, and I didn't want to come on camera with something that I think they've tweaked it slightly again, even in the 2 months that I bought the last bottle from. So I didn't want to do that, but that's also got a very nice finish. But this one was the one I was most interested in, not least because the Ilia Stick foundation I've only recently started to use and test, and I do really like it, so that drew me towards the brand as well. So that's what it looks like. I think it probably has oxidized because it does match. If you look at the rest of me, I think that looks okay. What I'll do is I'm not going to put any powder on yet. Let's wait. I'll do some eyeshadow and the mascara, and then we can go back and put powder on, because let's just give it a chance to settle. But so far so good. It did go on nicely. I didn't feel that it went, it didn't sort of peel with my skincare. So as part of reevaluating my spring and summer makeup, I also took another look at my concealers. Now, I have been hitherto really, really happy, and I still am, with the Estée Lauder Double Wear, which I've spoken about before. However, before Christmas, and this is well before Christmas, I bought the Kosas concealer because I was hearing how good and creamy and wonderful it was. And I do like Kosas as a brand, and this is before the Lauder one came out, remember? So I still wasn't happy with my concealer. Anyway, I tried it and I really didn't like it. However, I did try it, to be fair, at the point where my skin, especially under my eyes, is at my most driest and my most eczematic and all of that. It got very cold here in the UK, and it's just really bad for my skin. I threw that out and got a bit annoyed. But then I thought I'd give it another go. So I went back, got a different shade as it happens. I got the 5.5 in the Kosas. I tried it and I really, really like it. Now, it's a different beast, in my opinion, to the Lauder, in that it's creamier and slightly lighter. This does finish, this one you definitely don't need to powder. Well, for me anyway, I definitely don't need to powder. It seems to self-set in a way. This one doesn't, but actually spring, summer, I don't mind that as much because I'm happier I don't mind a bit of glow. So that's all good. It's also better for me not to have to powder at all anyway under the eyes, because I am so dry, and it can emphasize lines, but not always, depending on the powder, as we know. So this is what I've been using. Now, here's the thing. Kosas also brought out some color correctors, and so I bought the pink in it. Now I'm going to show you all of these so you can see, in case you are a shade twin with me. So here's the Kosas 505 as against the 3N in the Lauder. So that's the Lauder, that's the Kosas. I think you can see how creamy the Kosas is. And then, because I went for the color corrector in the pink, which they call, what do they call, magic, because I did speak about this before. A few months ago, I was stuck and there was only a Boots where I could run in and get somewhere. I was somewhere slightly more remote in the UK. And I bought the Maybelline in, I don't even know what colour this is, but it's basically pink. I really did like this, and I was so surprised and so pleasant. I was pleasantly surprised and happy because it's actually a very cost-effective product. It's got that Charlotte Tilbury spongy top, which I think they were the first to do this, because this has been out forever and a day. That's what this one looks like. I wouldn't say it's moisturising particularly, but it really does the job, and I've been very impressed. And you can see how much I've used. I mean, I haven't had to rebuy it or anything, but I have been using it on and off. Oh my gosh, I've got it everywhere. Sorry, I don't think this is the product's fault. I'm just a bit clumsy and a bit messy and untidy. So to that end, I thought, what would happen if I bought the Kosas, where I know it's really moisturising, in their pinky equivalent? Now that's what that looks like. And it immediately makes it look like plaster of Paris, but I promise you, under the eyes, it isn't. I don't look like I've been poured into a mould. When you blend it underneath your eyes, because it's quite a thin product, it works really, really well, and it's super moisturising, which is, as I said, is really good. It probably won't be right for me in the winter, but we're talking spring, summer now, so that's fine. So if you're dry, please bear that in mind. If your skin, like mine, does get better as the heating stops being on and the weather's more forgiving. I've now got, look at that, I've now got colour corrector in my hair. My hair does need colour correcting, but it's more at the roots anyway, and it certainly doesn't need pink. At any rate, that's what they look like. Now the plot thickens, because I also bought the Givenchy colour corrector in, I don't know what colour they call, oh, this is peach. And I really love this. Now this is fantastic and is a really, truly versatile product. That's what that looks like there. Can you see? Put it there. Can you see it's quite thin? And what's lovely about this is throughout the day I can touch up under my eyes if I see myself getting a bit darker, or certainly if I get tired. It just gives that little bit of brightness. But because it's so sheer, I don't need a brush. I can just do it with my finger. It's really easy to tap, tap, tap just on that, my darkest bit. I've really, really enjoyed this product. Now this is part of their permanent collection. They did bring out a couple of shades which I was just too late buying, including a pinky one, which I'd like to know, if you've bought it, what was it like? And is it worth badgering them to see if they bring it back? Let's see. But I would like to know. And do let me know what colour correctors you use, because I've had a bit of a colour corrector renaissance, not least because, it brings me to the next one, for a while I have been using the Huda Beauty in the shade Peach. Now this peach is very different to the peach of the Kosas, which I want to show you. Not the peach of the Kosas, I'm sorry, the peach of the Givenchy. It's much deeper, and actually, even though it does blend like a dream underneath the eyes, it's still a bit too dark for me. I mean, it does cover the darkness, but I still need to be sitting there with a brush and doing it properly. Whereas the thing about the Givenchy is it's a really good product to wear if you're in a hurry and if you don't have all your brushes and you just don't have that time and that, what I think of as makeup bandwidth, when you're just doing it quickly. This is a really good on-the-go product. That's in a way what stopped me using the Huda colour corrector as much, is because it needs a little bit more attention. Here it is. It blends very nicely though. I just find it not as easy, and perhaps the colour's probably not as forgiving as the Givenchy is. So I just thought it was worth showing you all of those. That's my artist's palette of colour correctors. And of course the two concealers there. So to that end, I thought I'd show you the Givenchy and the Kosas in action, so you can take a view as well. So I'm going to show you the Kosas first on one eye, and then on the other eye I'll show you the Givenchy, and both of them will have the Kosas concealer on top. Now I do want to emphasize that my going for this Kosas in pink, it is not recommended for my skin tone. It's just that I had such a positive experience with the Maybelline, so I'm looking for something that's higher end, more moisturising, frankly a bit more luxe, because that's the girl I am, and also maybe a smidge more long lasting. So I just thought it was worth a go. I have used this as a corrector, and then with the Estée Lauder on top, which is a slightly more rich and dense product, I feel, than the Kosas. But this is about spring, so let's see. Now this is full coverage, these colour correctors by Kosas. I think from memory there's 5 or 6 colours. As I said, this is not the one recommended for me. This is absolutely the lightest one. I tend to put a little bit in there and a little bit there. You need very little. That might even be too much, but let's see. And then with my N16, let's pat it in. Now all I've got underneath is my Cora oil. So that's what that looks like. And I do appreciate, it does look a bit clown-like, doesn't it? Or panda. Do pandas have white or dark? It's dark, isn't it, around? It's not the other way around. But anyway, so that is what that looks like. Now I've put very little on, because as I said, it's not meant for my skin tone, but it is brightening. Now, let's use the Givenchy. Now I should say that the Kosas, I was just concentrating on making sure that I didn't look quite as ridiculous as in the past I have done when I've just put too much. The Kosas is depuffing, brightening, and they do say it's full coverage. It really is full coverage. You've got to go very, very easy and sparingly with this one. It's not like the Maybelline where I can, in quite a slap happy way, just pat it on and then apply it with my fingers. And they call it the Revealer Extra Bright, because it is extra bright. Now, the Givenchy gives us 24 hours of hydration. It is more expensive at £37 as against £30 from the Kosas. And they have 3 shades in the colour correctors. They have a green shade, a blue shade, and this peach shade. Now, let me know if you've tried any of these, because the one that I'm attracted to is, I think it's the green one, which is good for sallow complexions. Or is it the blue? No, it's the blue, which is more like a lavender tone. And I was thinking of trying that out. So let me know if you've tried anything that's like a green or a blue in whatever brand, but especially the Givenchy, because I'd like to know, does it work? Okay, so here, let's give the Givenchy a little go. Can use a bit more of this because it's not quite as full, it's not quite as opaque by any means. I'll use a fresh brush. I cannot recommend, this is Hourglass concealer brush. Cannot recommend this enough. It's such a lovely concealer brush. Doesn't matter how many times I wash it, not a hair comes out. It's really lovely. I'm going to put a bit more. The Givenchy is quite wet. I don't mean it's leaky. I just mean you do feel that it's liquidy, whereas the Kosas is more creamy, presumably by dint of the opacity of it. Now the Givenchy is part of the Prisme Libre range, so it gives you 24 hours hydration, and it does definitely give you that colour correcting, I was going to say dimensionality can't be a word, but it does give you that dimension, that quality, in that it's not flat, whereas the Kosas, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying that is the difference between the two products. The Kosas is definitely more of an opaque, cover up your dark circles in a blunt way, whereas this one is more, that's why it's so good actually to just use with your fingers at the end of the day if you're just going somewhere, just to pad it on, because there is more dimension to it. It's more skin-like in that way. So that is the difference. Kosas here, Givenchy Prisme Libre here. This also gives you radiance, which this one doesn't, but it doesn't matter because you're going to put the concealer on top. But I'm just saying, I would never in a month of Sundays just put this on at the end of the day, just when I was just quickly touching up my lipstick and maybe putting on a bit of extra blusher if I was going out somewhere, which I don't tend to go out. I'm quite indoorsy, but even so, on the occasions that I do, I don't tend to go anywhere. Let's put the Kosas now on top. You've got to go easy with the old Sass because I'll use the same brush as I did with the, because it's very, very covering. There's definitely an opacity to this. So you don't want to put too much. I might have put too much, but let's see. Because normally, you see, it's the first time I've done this with the serum, with the Ilia serum, because normally I've got my foundation on. So I've got something left on the brush and that's how I blend it in. But that's okay, we can still do that. What I might do, there we go. It might be a problem because of the oxidization of the serum, but we can always just put a little bit on a foundation brush. Let's just get a small one, yeah, just to blend that in. And let's put the Kosas again on top of the Givenchy. And you can see what both those products look like. I'll use the same concealer brush I used on this side of the eye. So it's just got the Givenchy on it. Okay. So that's what that looks like. I'll bring you in closer and see what you think. Now I haven't blended, I'll use the, but although this side, interestingly, didn't need as much blending as the Kosas side, but then this is very light. My dark circles can be so dramatic that actually this has been very useful, but as I said, always with foundation, and it doesn't matter what foundation I've used, it's been great. Now can you see that because the Givenchy is so sheer, this is actually a particularly natural finish, whereas this one is more dramatic. But as I said, with foundation, it all blends in really nicely. Now what we could do is we could put some powder now on my complexion, then go in with a little bit of eyeshadow, and then I want to show you this new Givenchy, well, it's new to me, but it is their latest one, the new Givenchy mascara. So let's do that. Let's put some powder on and have a look. I've got my YSL here, so that's what I'll use. Here's my powder brush. Let's see where we think I need a bit of powder. I would like to do some on my forehead. And as I said, I'm not that bothered about putting powder on top of the serum, the Ilia serum, because if that means I get as nice a finish as possible, I don't feel I have to have something that's so completely natural that I'm not putting a little bit of powder, especially now as all these new powders that I've been testing are so good. The Givenchy Prisme Libre is fantastic, the pressed powder. This is very good. This, I mean, it's wonderful actually. This YSL, whatever it's called, All Hours Hyper Finish. I am 04, in case you're a shade match with me. So I'm not that bothered, and especially if it's a pressed powder, it's not like it's hard to travel with, so I'm not bothered. I'm going to put some powder now under my eyes just to show you. And that's it. I like this, the finish of this serum. On holiday, I probably wouldn't powder, or I might just powder my nose. But in terms of me having something that's a slightly lighter finish and getting the benefit of the SPF 30, I think that's not a bad thing. I'm going to put some blusher on now. I've got a new blusher, which I've only just bought actually. It's Kosas again. I like these blushers. I think they're really cost effective, and I feel like I'm getting an hourglass style of blush without having to pay for it. This is Kosas, this is Dreamland. Let me show you what it looks like. Well, that would be a good colour. The other one that I do wear a lot is Euphoria in the same range. Different colour, but also rather lovely. And again, they've got dimension. Can you see they've got this lovely, it's not shimmer, it's more like a sheen. It's just lovely. You can see it's not dissimilar to the Hourglass in that you've got, it's baked clearly because it's domed. Well, I say clearly, I'm assuming it's baked, but you've got that multicolour, colour correcting quality to it, which I really like. So let's put some blusher on, and then I want to show you both this Lisa Eldridge that I'm going to put on my eyes and this lovely new mascara. Well, I say lovely, I don't know, I haven't tried it, but I'm very excited. With Givenchy is when you order, whatever you order from them direct, they not only do they package everything absolutely beautifully, but they're really generous with their samples. And so one of the things that they sent me was a luxury sample of the Interdit mascara. So I do want to try it because what's interesting about it is it's thickening and it's lengthening, which seems to be the trend at the moment of one mascara fits all. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes I just want a lengthening mascara, and I'm not getting that itch scratched recently. It seems to be an all-in-one. It's also, I find this really interesting, it's also housed in a glass bottle. Now, I honestly thought that only the Charlotte Tilbury Exaggerise was in a glass bottle, and actually that's one of the reasons why I like that mascara, is because I do feel it seems to last longer, doesn't seem to dry out as quickly by any means. This mascara also makes some pretty big claims that it gives you double XL length and 177% more volume than you had to start with. I also bought to try, and this is new to me, not new in general, it's one of the Lisa Eldridge Liquid Lurex in Emily. Emily, is that her name? Is she called Emily? Yes, she's called Emily, which is what everybody calls me when they can't remember my name. They default to Emily. Emily is a name that I do answer to. It's conditioning. This is what Emily looks like, in case you don't know. It's part of the Lurex range, which is just shimmery. And I thought it would be fun for summertime, so that's why I bought it. So to that end, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put it straight on my eyes. I'm going to put it on a brush first, a flat brush. And let's see. Oh yeah. That's very nice. Now, I should say all I've got on my eyes is the Lisa Eldridge Phoebe in the liquid eyeshadows, just because I use that as a base. Let's put a bit more on the other one. I just wanted something quick and easy. It's not going to be like a big eyeshadow event. There we go. Gosh, they're so smooth on the eyes. They really are. Really good for my crepey lids. I don't know how long they take to dry, these ones. I was going to put some eyeliner on, but I don't want to until I'm sure that it's dry, so maybe I won't put any eyeliner on. And now onto the mascara. I did check with Givenchy. This is the full size brush. It's the proper brush that you get. That's what it looks like. It only comes in black. They don't say it's a tubing mascara. But now I'm thinking, is it a tubing mascara? Because they say it just comes off with water, and I thought that was the definition of a tubing mascara. They say it's no clump, and it's got ceramide-like actives, and it's got D-panthenol to strengthen the lashes. So all the panthenol that we've always enjoyed in our shampoo has now made its way into the mascaras, I see. Let's give it a go. Oh, okay. Oh, that's lengthening. Okay, I would say that has definitely lengthened. Gosh, I don't know, maybe. Please let me know if you're a tubing mascara aficionado, which I'm not. The only one that I do use and love is the Hourglass one. And I also have used, weirdly, the Beauty Pie one. This is just one in black, which actually I only bought as part of a Beauty Pie order, I think just to get me up to a free delivery or something. And I have found it quite useful. And actually, it's made its way up here, but actually where it sits is in the car for a mascara emergency, and I do have them. So, but that's good. The one that's wonderful is the Hourglass one. I really love that mascara. Okay, so this is certainly lengthening. Haven't got any clumps yet. Let's do the other eye. I think that's rather lovely. Yeah, what do you think? And have you tried this? Because it has been around for a while, but as I said, it's their latest one. Let's put a bit more on. See if we can get it to clump, because it does say it doesn't clump. Let's test it. With mascaras, I keep going until either the mascara keels over or I keel over. So I do like to give it as good a chance as possible to give me the length It's more the length and the thickness that I'm more interested in these days, because I think mascaras have just got so good that you're not getting spidery lashes as a matter of course with lengthening mascaras. I can't see any clumping. I should say the packaging, I know I've got the mini version, but mine's not glass, by the way, but it looks like the full-size version is. The packaging has still got that lovely emblem, the Givenchy emblem that you find in the foundations as well. If I've got, yeah, it's here. You see it in the foundation as well. You get this, there you go, you get the little emblem there. So that's nice. It's a nice uniform packaging, it's lovely. I'm quite impressed with that. Also, I just want to show you close up the Emily Lurex eyeshadow in case you haven't seen it. It's just a nice finish, a taupey colour. Put a little bit of lip gloss on and let's do a little roundup and see how we feel about everything. This is YSL something. Let's have a look. YSL 90 or 06? It's 06. I do like this actually. These are the ones that are meant to really tingle and increase the volume of your lips. I just don't find that they tingle at all. I just feel a slight warmth and it's over. It's not, I hate that tingle thing. This is, for me anyway, is absolutely fine. What do we think? The Serum foundation, what I would say is, I think it's a good colour. I enjoyed the finish. It was easy to apply with my fingers. I think realistically what I'm going to do next time is I am going to revert to a makeup brush of some sort. I just don't like getting stuff under my nails and on my fingers, but using it for the first time with my fingers, which is important because you do get a sense of what the texture's like and how emollient it is and how quickly it goes into your skin. I thought it blended really nicely. It certainly got rid of my just normal morning blotchiness thing. I did feel I needed the powder, but for me, I'm not excised by that. That's absolutely fine. And as I said, so many great powders. It's at the moment, it's just not difficult, even for a dry skin. I hope you found the concealer and the colour corrector, the colours that I showed you at least, interesting. And I do wonder what you're using, because I am, as I said, I'm more on a mission now with colour correctors. I don't know whether you can see the difference, but I can, and I'm interested to see whether you think this side, which is the Kosas pink colour corrector, or this side, which is the Givenchy colour corrector, is brighter or maybe not as nice looking, or which one you prefer. So do let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always such a pleasure. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.